tips for finding out your life's purpose. OMG, this one could have me on for the next 2 weeks. I actually got asked this on a podcast interview yesterday, and I think that honestly, when it comes to finding your life's purpose, first of all, is again, just like we talked about the weight thing, is being completely okay where you are right now. The retreat is really the best way to see Bali. Oh, Ashley was on my first retreat in Bali. Oh, I love it. Your life's purpose. First of all, it's like being pure accepting of like where you are right now. That's a really big thing. And then the next part I would say to you is then to think about like things that you enjoy doing. You know, I'm a big fan actually most recently of the different personality testings. So, you know, whether it's I see my friend Denise is running her Sacred Money Archetypes course soon, and that course gives you like what your money archetype is, the best way for you to like attract in abundance into your life. And that is through doing what you're meant to do. So it's no surprise that one of my archetypes is celebrity. I love doing camera video like this. I love like this. This is like my favorite thing. I'm a connector. So my second one is being around people, and that's why the retreats feed me so much, and it's just my favorite thing to do. So it's really recognizing what your favorite things to do are and what you're passionate about. So that's what's important. It's kind of like, what are the nudges and the things that that excite you? And that is always going to be a gentle nudge, even if you don't end up doing that thing. Because for me, the very first thing that I got into was yoga. And on this kind of path, and I got really excited about yoga, and I loved it. But actually, when I ended up learning to be a teacher, training to be a teacher, and being a teacher, I was like, yeah, I don't really like this bit. And it was just because, you know, there was two parts of this journey, because like I did the yoga and I loved teaching, I loved it. But when I turned into my business, I was like, this isn't exactly what I really want to do. But it opened me up, and that was a very big part of it. It was like the stepping stone to what you're doing. So recognizing that sometimes you get on a path and you realize, oh, this is where I'm at, and this is what I'm meant to do because I've studied the yoga, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the leading path to the next thing. And trusting those whispers, like there's little nudges, and it's whether or not you take them. You know, the first yoga class I went to, I remember so vividly. I was in a really dark, crap place in my life. Like literally, I was like binge drinking all the time. I was running a business that I like with my family. It was just like, I was just not in a happy place. And I was literally going home and crying every Friday on the couch going, oh, and that was my soul, like crying, going like, you're not doing what you're meant to be doing, you know, like, what are you doing? I didn't know. And I didn't know what my soul's path was. I was so confused. And what am I meant to do? Everything looked okay on the outside, but I wasn't happy on the inside. So I remember I was like standing in the restaurant, and this guy walked in who'd been coming in for months. Like he was a customer going for months, and I knew he taught yoga, and I was like, oh, when's your next yoga class? And he's like, I have it tonight at 7:30. And I was like, I'll be there. And apparently my sisters had been telling him for like months that they were going to come to his classes, and they never showed up. I just turned up to that one class. I was late for it, but I was there, and I never missed another class. And I just kept, like, it wasn't like, oh, this is going to be my thing forever, but it was something that I really enjoyed and gave me a lot. And honestly, that class, I sat in that yoga class, and we sat down, and we did close our eyes, and we did a few deep breaths. And he was like, this is an hour for you. And like the tears like rolled down my face, and I was like, oh my God, an hour for me? What does that mean? You know, I've never done that for myself, you know? So that was just the leading path, and I kept doing it. And then the next thing was like, and literally when I was asking, the people and the signs are going to keep coming into you, around you, and tapping on your shoulder. Like oftentimes I'm so intrigued by people that come into my world, because my archetype is connector. So I always want to bring, and I'm also really intuitive. So if I recommend someone to somebody, I'm like, this is going to be really good for them. And it's up to them to make the decision. Like it's up to them. You know, if someone comes on a call with me to work with me one-to-one feng shui or for my coaching work, I'll just be like, yeah, I can help you. I know I can, because you're here, and it's because you've showed up and you've been called into this space. Or if I can't, I'll be like, this is the person you need to contact. Like, this is a good connection for you. And like that always works out really well for people who ask me for recommendations and stuff, or they end up with me, because it's like, you're meant to be here. There's something in it. But sometimes we just don't listen. Sometimes we put excuses up. So it's about listening really and tuning in, because we do have that ability to tune in if we give ourselves the opportunity. So, So yeah, what happened then was then like my first ever like meditation circle that I joined, she was a school teacher that used to come into the restaurant. You know, she kept saying to me, you need to come to this, and I'd be like, okay, I'll go. You know, so it's like these people, these things that you're looking for, your purpose is coming and it's knocking on the door, but it's up to you whether you actually follow through and you hear them. So that's where I would say to you about getting nudges for your life's purpose.